You're looking to restore that piece of furniture or that antique piece of furniture. I'm Blake Kennedy with Kennedy Brothers Estate Services, and I'm here to help. Restoring a piece of furniture can be a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. You want to make sure you know what type of wood you're working with first, whether it's an antique piece or just a regular nice maple piece like this right here from the 50s and 60s. With an antique piece of furniture, some people go, oh, I shouldn't do this, I should leave the original patina, I shouldn't touch it. Well, that's stuff that should be not touched from like the 1700s, or if it has that right look. But if you're not quite sure, call up an antique refinisher and see what they think on that. But to practice first time, get a nice piece of wood furniture that you can start off with if you're not quite sure you want to work on your antique piece of furniture first. But this piece right here, if you want to strip it first completely, I use a nice semi-paste. A semi-paste, it'll blob right on top of it, and you have a little more control over it. First of all, you want to make sure you have the right supplies. Wear gloves, rubber gloves. Have a nice white rags to wipe off if it starts to fall in spots you don't. You want to make sure you have a nice tarp down in case you're working in the garage, because you are working with a stripper and it'll strip the paint right off your floor. I use an extra fine steel wool. I use a lot of this because it'll give it a nice smooth finish and not digging into the wood like a sandpaper. And if you are going to use a sandpaper, I love using the palm sander. I use it all the time. But I use a light grit, 180, 150, just to knock off any imperfections on top. You can sort of rub your hand across the top. But one of the tricks that I do is I do the paste and I rub it around with the steel wool and hitting the spots that are coming off. But when it starts to blob up and you want it to leave, I always get a nice little garbage can and I put it at an angle. And when I put it at an angle, it'll just sort of fall right off into the garbage can. It's not getting on your floor, and just keep doing that until it's completely off. And then after you get all the paste off of it, you want to just get lacquer thinner and just clean it all up with your rags until you feel like it's smooth, and let it dry out. And after it dries out, do a nice sanding on it, get it smooth again. If there's any pieces that you missed, then put it back on and make sure you get it all off. And then give it a nice smooth finish, and then you can get stains, any color stains, whether you want it light or darker. A lot of times you want to go a little bit darker than what it is, because it's kind of hard to make something lighter than the wood actually is. And then you want to put a nice clear coat over the top of that, or a nice Minwax over the top of it. I hope that helped, and good luck refinishing that furniture. It's really not that hard, and it's a lot of fun. I'm Blake Kennedy.